Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om, Hari Om. Yes. Where are we now? Where are we now? Fine policeman. 13th chapter. Anything that wells up in your mind apart from what? You see, in all statutes, if you go through, by and large, not that we have gone through every statute, but by and large, whenever we happen to go through any statute, we would find in the last portion an exemption by the government. Because everywhere, though they stipulate certain terms and conditions for the overall good governance, still the lawmakers thought that there might be something which would not have stuck to us. So at that time, if that is presented, the government has the right to exempt. So here, how did it come? We were thinking deeply about it. So by and large, okay, we have to go along with the statute because of the good governance. But when this exemption, it is not written in anywhere. So how does it express? It expresses in the form of spontaneity, free from self-interest. So not that we are justifying what the policeman has done, but we do recognize that there is an exemption in all man-made statutes, so that whatever they have foreseen, if there could be something which would not have been covered, So at that time the government must have the power to exempt that particular person from the purview of that particular statute. Similarly here, God also gives exemption, but in an unwritten way. How? It comes out in the form of spontaneity. Spontaneity, not only mere spontaneity, it will be free from any type of self-interest. So the policeman, not only he did not have any vested interest, but the word he used on situation like this, in a matter of this kind, there is no higher authority than the dictates of one's own conscience, which are highly considered as the promptings of God himself. So, though we have been given all these things, we should know this, that there are exemptions, and those exemptions, God gives them only through spontaneous promptings, not necessarily managed. So in a matter of this kind, there is no higher authority than the dictates of one's own conscience, which are highly considered as the promptings of God himself. It is not coming out of a rational thinking or the intellect's job. No. We should know this. It should be spontaneous. We cannot draw any particular form for this. It suddenly wells up, you are prompted, you act. But the only condition is it should be free from any type of self-interest. And here, not only it is free from self-interest, but God tested the policeman also through the ticket clerk. He said this will be reported to our bosses. As a consequence, you will have to face disciplinary action. But then the policeman said calmly, as a result of your report, even if I be dismissed from the service, I am fully prepared to face all consequences. But neither you nor anybody on earth shall prevent the sadhus from travelling by this train. So, under this pretext, we cannot break any law. We should be very, very clear.
Yes, Swamiji.
Law and order is necessary for the good governance of this country, for the well-being of everybody. But there may be, Gandhiji introduced Satyagraha, you know?
Yes.
It was not hush-hush. It was free from violence. Whenever he wants to undertake his Satyagraha, he declares first. And then breaks the law. And then he gladly accepting the punishment. So as devotees, whenever we are prompted to break the law, we learn this, first it should be for the interest of so many people. Number two, it should be free from vested interest.
Yes.
Number three, it should be in the open. when the ticket collector or inspector, when they were looking at some side, suppose he has said, you please get in seat. No, it was straightforward. In front of everybody, he breaks the law. So, exemptions. In a journey for spiritual efforts, a devotee will be definitely coming across with such incidents.
Yes, yes.
At that time, what should be the stand he should take? This is what I think Papa portrays here. Even if normally you should not break, but even if you break, it should be for the welfare of others. It should be free from vested interests. It should be done openly. We cannot find fault with the ticket inspector or station master. They were discharging their duties. And in this case, there is one more dimension. What we said, that it should be spontaneous, everything. It is from the personal level, individual level.
Yes.
From the higher level, God prompts, which is called spontaneous. If you read the first line of this chapter, at noon, next day, Ram, who is the loving parent of all, seeing that the sadhus were going without food, induced a ticket clerk to ask them to alight at a station between Basavada and Jagannathapuri.
Yeah.
So, God...
The station's name is not remembered. It's in between.
No,
Basavada and Jagannathapuri.
Correct. Ram induced the ticket clerk.
Yes.
To ask them to get down. So that is the interaction. So God is behind. God is behind making them to get down at that particular station. So they could go out and have their food. And they came back and waited for the train, the same train, next day.
But at the end too, thy slave cannot find words to express thy greatness and thy love. Oh, fierce.
Correct.
Flow on. And
So
this
here,
is Ramdas can express it.
we are not viewing it from the individual level.
Yes.
Ram induced the ticket collector to get down. Ram induced the ticket collector to prevent him from going. God and the Lord induced a policeman to come and somehow make them get in.
Yes.
This is the play. So in other words, because Papa's surrender was total, he was able to accept all situations cheerfully.
Yes, Swami. Yes.
That we should not forget. All these things are going. We always remember the first line of Papa's universal prayer. O Creator, Protector and Destroyer. No? All these things are covered. He himself will make, he himself will protect, he himself will destroy. So everything is subject to these three. This we should not lose sight of. If we are in a position to bring in the God dimension, these three are inevitable. If we don't bring the God dimension, we stick to one. And we say, why should it happen? How it can happen? So all these questions well up from the intellectual level when we deal with men and matters from the individual level. But when we start identifying from a higher level, then the only answer is, that is the way of God. God is not only the creator, God is not only the protector, God is also the destroyer. He is inducing the ticket collector, he is inducing the sadhus to get in, he is inducing the ticket collector and the station master to prevent, he is inducing the policeman to break the law and make them to get in, and finally the train moves with the sadhus. And what happened later, we don't know. So anything can happen by his will, where the intellect cannot find any answer.
The reasoning goes, when you see, these sannyasis deserve to be allowed to get into the train. As regards tickets, they cannot be expected to carry money, since money is not their best, as in the case of worldly people. A step is made here. Page number 42. Second para.
Anything else that comes to anybody's mind?
Hariom Swami.
Yes. Apart from this, is there any point? O Ram, it is now beyond any doubt that thou art seated in the hearts of all, inducing the whole world, whole universe to act and move in strict accordance with thy sovereign will. The why and whereof will not be there. When the sense of individuality completely surrenders. Anything else from this chapter? Everybody is keeping mum?
Hariom Swami.
No.
When Papa was to meet Saint Aurobindo, and it was not possible, he felt it is Ram's will. In the case of ordinary people like us, we may feel disappointed because we might have gone there with a specific request to make the saint, as if that was not made possible, because the meeting was not possible, there might have been a possibility of disappointment. But in the case of Papa, there was no expectation, there was no desire to be fulfilled. It was simply a meeting just to take his blessings. So the feeling was that he has taken it in the Ram's will.
Right, quite right.
Hariom Swami.
Similarly, this one also. Is that what you feel?
Yes, Swami?
Similarly, is the case with the policeman episode.
Yes.
Swamiji.
Papa was not insisting.
Because Papa could see the same commonness in the policeman, the ticket clerk, and the station master. One Ram is preventing, one Ram is allowing him to go. So he was quite aloof from everything because it is a play of Ram. He could see the common thread in all. So Papa was quiet. So that is for us to learn. When things apparently look, disparity is there. There is not in tune with our requirement, our thoughts or whatever. When we see there is differences, we should be able to see that there is the person who is going against your whatever you want or whatever it is. That person is probably doing it for your better, or something like that. I should learn. If I could see the commonness.
Right. That is what he has written. O Ram, it is now beyond any doubt that thou art seated in the hearts of all, inducing the whole universe to act and move in strict accordance with thy sovereign will. So as devotees, Papa is gently reminding us, you will also be subject to go through many experiences where you will not be able to find the why and whereof answer on many things that are happening. But if you start trying, if you start accepting everything as God's will, you will be able to slowly understand the purpose and also you will be peaceful. So what is required is subservience to that higher power at all times. Even if something shakes you, in the shortest possible time you will be able to pull us up. It is His will, it is His will, it is His will. There is no why and whereof. That is important. That means there is no role for the intellect to play. Which again means there is no sense of individuality to form concepts. It's spontaneous. So His will expresses in the form of spontaneous action or thought. This also we should know as devotees. Normally we are guided by our intellect. In anything and everything, that is what we do. It has been given to us to choose right and wrong, good and bad, everything is alright. But there are certain things where God will definitely bypass this. So we should be very careful. Otherwise we become upset over a decision taken by somebody or a happening that hurts us or that harms us. But suppose we take this is His will, this is His will, this is His will, probably the severity may be reduced. That particular para, O Ram, it is now beyond any doubt that thou art seated in the hearts of all, inducing the whole universe to act and move in strict accordance with thy will. Thy sovereign will. So two things very important from this. One is there are exceptions, but here, unlike the statute, in statute suppose we apply for exemption, 99 out of 100 will be rejected. Because it's a precedent they are setting. So they will be careful not to do it. But we have seen in certain cases, when they are convinced, when the authorities, when they are convinced that it deserves some exemption, they do give, very rarely. Similarly, God, when sees to it that the devotee is put into trouble, He intervenes and sets aside the normal rule and saves them in the form of spontaneity, in the form of free from self-interest. So this is one aspect. Another aspect is total subservience to His will. That will make us happy, that will make us peaceful. Without forming any negative or positive feeling about others. You do not find, sadhus profusely thanking the kind policeman. Nor they condemned the act of the ticket clerk or the... Neither of these things had happened there. So So it is His will, it is His will. The prompting also comes to them to get in, no? So the main theme is His will, subservience to His will. We may not be able to describe it. It is beyond the area of any discussion. It happens, that's all. Sense of individuality has no role at all, excepting submitting to His will. Anything else? Anything else? In this connection, we thought it would be appropriate to read a few portions from At the Feet of God. It appears in the April issue. Papa addresses the indwelling and all-pervading reality as Mother. O Mother, your name is Ram. What is your form, since name and form always go together? Answer. I am without name and form. To realize me as without these, O Ramdas, you have first to assume me as having them. Question. You are one, but the universe is full of diversity. It is made up of millions of forms. How is this, Mother? Answer. I am one, formless and nameless. I choose to be many. Hence I have to assume forms, without which I cannot be many. Question. You are eternal, but how is it that your forms are perishable? Answer. It is as it should be. When one is real, many must be unreal. So form is born, remains for a time, and then dies. Birth, change, growth, dissolution. That is the nature of forms. Question. How can you exist, O Mother, when your forms perish? Answer. Just as child, the gold remains even after the ornament is melted, during which process it loses its form, as also in the case of a lump of ice, which loses its form under heat, but the water of which it is made remains. Question. Why did you wish to be many? Answer. I desire to have a play, and a play cannot be unless there be more than one. Hence I had to manifest myself as many. Question. What do you gain by this play? Answer. Anandam, supreme bliss. Question. How can you speak of bliss, O Mother, when the world is seen to be full of misery? Answer. Understand, my child, it is I myself acting miserable, happy, angry, etc. Question. How can you be acting miserable and remain unaffected at the same time? Answer. Acting is always an appearance. It does not affect the actor. An actor pretends to be weeping, while all the time he remains internally at heart unmoved. So also with all other feelings and emotions. Question. What is this play of yours made of? It is made up of three qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas: harmony, activity and dullness. Question. How is variety seen in this divinity? Answer. By countless modes of combinations of these three qualities. These three gunas make together what is called Prakriti. O Mother, are you separate from Prakriti? Answer. O child, Prakriti exists because of me, but I am not in Prakriti. Question. Is Prakriti eternal? Answer. Individually not, but collectively she is. Bear in mind always that Prakriti has only a relative existence, not absolute. I am the only one as absolute. Question. If sorrow and pain are unreal, why should there be sympathy, compassion, charity, love, truth, goodness, purity and such virtues in this world? Answer. Realization of the state in which this world is witnessed as a play can be attained only by recognizing me as one appearing as many. The three gunas have to be transcended before absolute unity is realized. Now this oneness is attained only through the practice of universal love, purity, truth, compassion and charitable needs. Question. What is this realization? Answer. This realization makes you only a blissful witness of the play of the three gunas and thus remain always free from all the effects of pleasure and pain and other pairs of opposites, yourself untouched, unaffected. Then it is that you will have realized the fact you are as myself. So every now and then if we go through at the feet of God, where Papa has a dialogue. Papa, the sense of individuality, has a dialogue with the indwelling reality, and it has been beautifully brought out for us to get certain clarity on not only the events and individuals, but also on the inner reality.
Thank you, Swami.
Every now and then we have to read.
Yes, yes.
Okay. We can apply this to this also. The play that is necessary, there should be a hero, there should be a villain. There should be compromises. There should be some occasion for us to laugh and enjoy, some occasion for us to weep and sing. That is the nature of the play. So as devotees we have been directed to see this characteristic. Simple thing is we should not do it from the individual level. If we do it from the individual level, we will not be able to accept anything. But if we do it from a little more higher level, we will be able to accept everything. But we should know that inquest of God, a study on inquest of God really brings out this very salient one. If we view it from the individual level, we will not be able to lead a peaceful life. Because there will be many occasions where it may not be right, it may not be favorable, it may not be compatible from the individual level. But suppose we maintain the individual level and at the same time raise ourselves to a higher level and see what is happening in and around us, then our reaction with our way of dealing will be totally different. Not from the individual level, a little more higher level. These 11 chapters, we have 13 chapters we have covered, It keeps on emphasizing on this aspect. Rest of the chapters also bring out the same thing. If we do it from the individual level, no. Either we may not get answers or we may find it is not right. But when we do it from a little more higher level, we find everything fits in. That means the me and mine is not there. We are trying to accept everything as they are. It's a very powerful dimension. Yes, then can we move to the 14, Jagannath Puri.
Yes, Swamiji.
Anything there?
Swamiji, as a contrast to Tirupati, where he went for having darshan, he could not get darshan. Here, he got darshan despite all odds.
Correct.
So, everything is predestined.
There can't be any uniformity in our language, Approaches are different.
But everything is preordained.
Everything is preordained. That is why you are dealing with so many things in your life. If you purely stick to one, you will not be able to accept. Because so many things happen not because of me, because of the factors other than me. I cannot dictate. It should be like this, it should be like that. Because the factors other than me decides many things. So to become peaceful and to harmonize our life, the only way is to go along with it, accepting it as the will of God. In one place, he is not allowed to get into the temple premises. If he was allowed, we don't know whether he would have waited for the darshan. We don't know that. But when they were all out, it was decided that early morning they will leave. In Jagannath Puri, the Sadhuram took him there, and we feared Papa developed. Next morning both went up to a large tank outside the city, finishing bath and ablution, directed their step to the famous temple of Jagannath, the beautiful white dome of which was visible high up in the sky from any place in the pious city. Now the Sadhuram and Ramdas found themselves at the great door of the temple, but how to gain entrance? The doorway was completely blocked up by the rushing crowd of pilgrims. There was a good deal of air going, pushing, kicking, in the thick and struggling mass of humanity. Looking on this state of things, Ramdas, with hands joined in salutation, spoke, "O Ram, how can thy poor slave gain access to this rush of men and obtain thy darshan? There appears to be no chance for him, a weak and helpless fakir." Scarcely were these words uttered, when from the crowd at the entrance out came a tall Brahmin. Approaching him, took him by the hand, led him to the door. Using all his strength, he pressed himself through the thick crowd, making a passage, conducted the bewildered Ramdas along with him. It all appeared like a dream. Ramdas had now become unconscious of his body and plunged into communion with the Almighty Ram. In about 5 minutes, he was standing before the big idol of Jagannath, the Brahmin still holding him by the hand. Ramdas laid his head at the feet of his idol. This over, the Brahmin took him for a round to the temple. "O Ram, what words can convey thy kindness to thy slave? All glory to thee." All along, while going round, he was immersed in a strange ecstasy, tears flowing down profusely from his eyes. What a joy indescribable! Oh, one moment of the existence outweighs, one moment of that existence outweighs all the pleasures of the world. A few minutes later, he and the Brahmin guide were out again at the very place wherefrom he had been fetched. He was procuring some prasad, boiled rice. The Brahmin put it into the mouth of Ramdas. "Now my work is over," said he, and was going inside the temple, leaving him. But before he did so, Ramdas was somehow impelled to put him a question. "Brother, how was it that you were so kind to a wandering sadhu whom you took into the temple for darshan?" He said, "Jagannath alone can answer your question," replied the Brahmin. "No sooner did I see you than a strange and sudden desire seized me to take you in, get you the darshan of Jagannath. Why I did this, all this I cannot explain. It was all the work of God, certainly Ram's work." One more hidden message is there, Normally, idol worship is considered to be, an obstacle in reaching the Supreme. But here we find, when we develop a desire to have the darshan of an idol, if we take it that it is the prompting of God from inside, and whether when it happens or it does not happen, on both cases we again feel it is His will. By that, Papa probably is making us known that idol worship also helps. The more we think about it, we come to know that the idol is instrumental in touching and kindling the God dimension in innumerable devotees. So it has its relevance. What a joy they get. I don't know about other places, but we certainly know about a place in Palgad, Kerala, where when we were children, then we used to go there for vacation to stay with our grandparents. Important, it's called Rathotsav. The idol will be taken in a chariot, and the chariot will be moved by hundreds and hundreds of people. There is nobody else. And when it passes through the village, every house, we will see, Rangoli will be there. Everybody, the people, the residents will come out with a tambar, with flowers, fruits and whatnot. They are not treating it as an idol. They are treating it, the Lord Himself is coming now. And thousands of people will be either witnessing or taking part in this. So it is there throughout India, wherever they go. So even in Jagannath, this is there, The idol will be there. Yeah. So they don't just see it as an idol. So the idol worship helps them to know that there is also beyond that idol. But idol worship is necessary to know that God is beyond the idol also. So it has got a relevance. Nobody should belittle the importance of temple worship, idol worship. Though Papa said that there will not be any idol worship inside the ashram, he did not belittle the importance. Later on, when we started thinking why he did so, the answer we got from inside is that when we praise an idol, unknowingly we localize, limit the existence of that truth to that photo, to that idol. Whereas Papa wanted everyone to know that we are all the moving temples. So God is there inside us. So if this is not highlighted, the risk is there that we get, we limit it. We limit the all-pervading reality to a particular form. That's all. But initially we all derive much joy, and even now we derive joy when we find bhaktas performing acts of various types of worships to the idol. So this particular chapter makes us to think about all these things, Jagannath Puri. Because he himself says, "O Ram, How can thy poor slave gain access to this rush of men and obtain the darshan? There appears to be no chance for him, a weak and helpless fakir. So God gives him the prompting, and at the same time when he gives the same prompting to the Brahmin.
Swamiji, but in the Himalayan journey, the same helpless fakir would climb such steep mountains.
Such steep mountains to climb.
Yes.
Like a fakir he was.
Here he says, weak and helpless fakir.
Correct.
Weak and helpless fakir.
So when he honestly feels that he is a weak and helpless fakir, immediately God responds. That is also there. When I become zero, when I become a zero, then God immediately intervenes and fulfills my desires. Helpless fakir, yes, correct.
Swamiji?
A weak and helpless fakir.
Swamiji?
Yes. Swamiji, they are calling Swamiji.
Swamiji? Here, we are reminded of when Papa says, a weak and helpless fakir, how can he have the darshan? We are reminded of the first chapters. The cry was heard. It was the heart's cry of Ramdas. The cry was heard, and from the great came the voice, despair not, your wish will be fulfilled. We are reminded of that.
First chapter.
Yes, first chapter.
So always you are right. So whenever I feel I am zero, I immediately become aware of his promptings. When I am something, I am not aware of his promptings. So the me and mind should go completely, then only I will hear his words. In Vyavahar, when we go, naturally, though at times we may feel we are zero, at times we may also feel we are not zero. So here he says, whenever you feel zero, then automatically God sends somebody to fulfill your desire. Yes, that's a great point.
And that one line, Swamiji, that one line is very touching. What joy indescribable. Oh, one moment of that existence outweighs all the pleasures of the world. So
beautiful.
Swamiji, we could have communion, a strong communion in the midst of crowd also.
We say communion?
Even in the crowd.
Yeah.
So that is possible to have communion even in the midst of people when people are around us.
It is possible. It will become possible only when we have the regular communion. Because when we start the communion with him, unknowingly we will devise ways and means to avoid any sort of disturbance. So you just think, you are deeply thinking and going, I am coming from the other side. You know me, but you may not know me. You may not see me, Then suddenly I say, hey, where are you now? Then say, oh, sorry, I did not see you. Though eyes are open, recognition may not be there. Similarly, in a crowd, one can maintain communion with him if we have really practiced it, that we know the technique of not going out, but to get ourselves completely absorbed in his thought. Yes?
Sometimes praying to God that let I am an instrument, work it through my body and make me to serve you. Is it correct?
Make me to
Serve you better.
Sure. Certainly. Always we should think that you have given that. Why do you know? Because you have given me a body, mind, intellect. When I was conceived, the present me was not dictating. But I started knowing about myself only after my 10th year or 11th year or 15th year. Until such time it was you who brought me up. Suddenly when I become of age, I forget all these things and think that I am the planner, I am the protector, I am this, I am that. I forget that who was the protector till I became of age. God in the form of my mother, father, relations, in the form of the Prakriti, in the form of society, they were taking care of me. The present me, which says, I am the deciding factor, was not there. But without that, that is how I came out. Then now I realize that you are behind that. For some time I thought I am the thinker, doer, enjoyer, sufferer. But now I slowly realize that you are making me to do all these things. Kindly make me aware of your presence, so that I will not complain, I will not grumble. Whatever you want me to do, you make me to do, but also make me aware that you are behind it. So these two chapters, today we covered the kind policeman and Jagannath Puri. Important point. Exemptions are there, but that God's exemption comes only in the form of spontaneity, which is free from self-interest. Subservience to His will, always subservience to His will, is the only way to make us free from any anxiety. And the second one, equal importance is given for idol worship. And here also, when I become zero, then only He steps in and fulfill my desire. So let us try to think more and more revelations may come to us. Each and every chapter is full of such dimensions only. We were treating it as a travelogue of Papa. No, it is not. They are full of tools for us. That is why it's called a manual. In our workaday life, when we deal with men and matters, we are subject to so many types of experience, positive, negative. At those moments, we should be able to keep the same tranquility, same equanimity. If it has to come, subservience to His will is a must. So this is a common message coming from every chapter. So let us all try our level best to think more and more of it and become aware of His will rather than thinking of our will. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Jai Om Shri Ram
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.